Check, check, check. Deric is talking. Deric is walking. Deric is fucking.
Nice.
You like that?
Yeah. It sounded like fucking. Is that what you're going for?
You're goddamn right, baby.
Nice.
Because we're back, motherfucker.
Yeah.
We back in the motherfucking house.
Yeah.
Jeffrey's old house.
Yeah, I used to live here.
Not no more.
Yeah.
Now you live in Narnia. Or is it just east
South. It's just
South Austin?
Yeah, South. It's
Different.
It is, yeah.
You know what I'm saying, my nigga? But we back. Hey, Jeffrey, I oh my God, bro. Mm-hmm. Did you hear about what happened at the Oscars?
What?
You didn't hear?
I don't think so.
Bro. Will Smith slapped Chris Rock.
Oh my goodness, fart.
Is that how you feel about it?
Yeah.
Damn, it made you fart?
No, just say the word fart.
Damn, that's what it made you do?
Yeah.
Man. And that's Jeffrey's Will Smith Oscar take, guys. Been waiting a couple of weeks. That's why I didn't want to get it immediately.
Right.
I wanted to let it
on hold for a while.
I wanted them to really feel it when it mattered, Doug. Jeffrey, I'm excited.
Is he still a good actor? No
more.
Oh man,
They killed all his movies.
that sucks. Like you watch him the movies now, he's like not a good actor anymore.
Yeah, he's not a good actor.
Yeah.
And he's they went back and they made him a bad actor in all the movies. That was his punishment. And it's like, damn, that sucks, man. And, you know, in the movies that he was bad in, like Wild Wild West, they made him a good actor. So it's like,
oh wow,
yeah, they just they completely just ruined his whole career.
Jeez.
So now it's like the only thing he did great was Wild Wild West.
Like you go back to that scene in Fresh Prince when his dad's gone,
Yes.
and he's like, "Oh man, I'm sad."
Hey, yo, you know what's even worse? Is Uncle Phil is still acting his ass off.
Yeah.
He's still acting his ass off. And this guy's like, I'm sad. I want a dad.
Will. Yeah. He's on that. Yeah. Wow.
Oh, my God. I'll be a better, what does he say? I'll be a better father. Because can't nobody tell me how to love my kids. Why don't he want me, man? Yo, what if after he smacked Chris Rock, he just did that monologue specifically? Everyone would have been like,
I guess he's going through something. Yeah.
also people would have been like, man, what a good scene. That was such a good scene.
Yeah, Chris Rock cries.
Chris Rock cries. Also, Uncle Phil's not dead. Like he comes back to like he comes back alive, but he still looks like he's been in the grave for like a couple of years.
Well, you want to be realistic. Yeah.
So like some of his face is
Yeah,
eaten
it's
out by
kind
animals
of
and like
falling off a little bit. Yeah.
yeah, all that kind of shit.
His stomach is like open, kind of.
Yeah. He's walking up.
Yeah, he's screaming in pain. Oh!
Why don't he want me, man? And he still knocks the hat off of him. It's powerful, Doug. It's a powerful awards ceremony.
Yeah, it's very important.
It's so important, man. It's one of the most important things.
The biggest stage of them all.
Yeah, I'd say it's bigger than World War II. Definitely bigger than World War One. That war sucked. Nobody even cares about that war.
I mean, where were the speeches, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, the best part of every war.
Yeah.
A very arousing speech. You know what I'm saying? If I was gonna go to war today, I'd want my leader to be Coach Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's who I'd want my general to be. I feel like he'd be a rousing leader. You know what I mean?
Go on.
I just like I like the way he leads. Also, when I was in Pittsburgh, this is how much they love that guy. That city's so stupid. I hate that city. I hate that city, Berner. But everyone there was like when we were going to the show, there were quotes of his all over the city.
Okay.
And some were just like, I had a good sub here. And it was like Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin,
said,
okay.
I had a good sub here. And it was like, you know what I mean? Like
Mike Tomlin's their hero.
Oh, bro, everything was Pittsburgh Steelers. That's why that place was a horrible place for comedy. And if you're a listener right now and you're from Pittsburgh, it's your fault. I blame you.
Is Pittsburgh your least favorite city you've been to?
Oh, by far.
Okay.
Twice now. I've also been twice.
Okay.
And both times. That's why I'm like, both times?
Right.
Both times?
That's fair. What about Steel?
Bro, they don't even care about Steel no more.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, it's all about like fucking,
Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin and fucking racism.
Okay.
They celebrated there.
So they've still got their exports.
Yeah, they still got that. No, it's just a fucking stupid city that they only care about the football team. It's kind of annoying that they only care about the football team. Like, it's really one of those kind of cities. But I mean, I've been to other cities like that. I mean, because even Memphis is like that. Memphis is fucking small and stupid, and they also don't like comedy there. But I've had good sets, so I've had good sets in Memphis, so I don't hold them to such a horrible standard.
Okay.
Whereas Pittsburgh, it's like, 5 sets, 0 for 5.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I guess it's a bad place.
It's a really bad place, bro, and they all should have burned when Bane blew them up in Dark Knight Rises. Oh, that's the only cool thing I did like is that when you see their football stadium, you're like, it's a fucking stadium for Dark Knight Rises. And then you're like, and the Steelers play there. And then your second thought is that.
Hines Ward was in that movie.
Hines Ward is in that fucking movie, dog.
Great actor.
Great actor. I totally believe he was running a kick return for a touchdown. At no point am I like, this is not a kick return for a touchdown.
I think he really went method with it. He really prepared. He really lived the life.
Yeah, he went method man, they say. That's when an actor goes really method. They go, man, he went
method man. Yeah.
Because he just kept feeding you and feeding you. You know what I'm saying, Bert?
Yeah.
Golly.
Are you going to tell me how high?
Have I told Sam that yet? I don't think I've told Sam or Hassan that yet.
Oh, wow. Both of them haven't seen How High?
No, they're both stupid.
But that's like one of the most on repeat movies ever on Comedy Central.
On Comedy Always. Shit was on Comedy
Central.
Whatever their deal was with Comedy Central, man.
9 o'clock every night. How High?
How High?
Yeah.
On.
Yeah.
Also, I never minded it. It was something. It was fun. It was a comedy that I didn't mind playing in the background.
Yeah. I think maybe that's why it got so much run.
Yeah. Because it's just fun. There's no scene where you're coming in and you're like, oh, here's that serious scene in How High.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It gave you exactly what you wanted. And speaking of giving you what I wanted, Jeffrey, I think I'm going to give you what you want today.
Okay. Is it Inside Out again? It was really good. That's a really good movie.
That is a really good
movie.
That is a really good movie, buddy. And no, I can't tell you Inside Out again.
Okay.
You know that's not how the podcast works.
Is this movie also the best kids movie, at least, that I've ever experienced?
I'm not going to say yes.
Okay.
I will say no.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So you're saying there's a chance.
I'm not saying, okay. I'm not saying that. I'm saying it's a completely different movie, but I think you might enjoy it as well. What's crazy about this, because you're 100% right, this movie, and I love this movie. Mm-hmm. I don't want to downplay this movie in any way. I love this movie. I've seen this movie I don't know how many times. It's fucking amazing. It's great. I do think you'll enjoy it. I had to ask myself, and no, it is not Inside Out.
Okay.
It is not that good. But then I had to be like, yo, Jeffrey, not a lot of stuff is.
Inside Out was.
Inside Out was.
Yeah.
Inside Out's one of the rare things that was as good as Inside Out.
Yeah.
But not a lot of stuff is. It's just not a lot of stuff that's that good. Okay? So let's not lower our expectations, but let's just have an open heart, an open mind, an open butthole, open nostrils, open your pee hole. Open yourself. There you go. Be as open as you can be for this.
Okay.
Okay? Because we got stuff to do after. I'm going to tell Jeffrey this movie, and then we got to go shop for clothes. I got to get stuff for my New York trip. I'm going to New York.
Yeah, someone keeps sharding in my boxer briefs. I got to get new ones.
Jeffrey, you keep saying so much shit.
Yeah, some sexy genius.
How do you know How do you know the dude is sexy and he's a genius?
Smell of his shart. Smell and texture of his shart.
Okay, all right.
And also, if he's not a sexy genius, how does he keep doing it while I'm still wearing the boxer briefs?
You have no idea who it even might be, huh?
No clue. No clue.
So you feel like O.J. Simpson? You know when they say O.J. Simpson who's the murderer, he's like, the murderer could be anybody.
Yeah, I'm as much of a victim as O.J. Simpson.
Yeah, he was a real victim of those murders.
Yeah.
No one talks about that. Who the victim of those 2 murders were?
Now his house is haunted.
Oh my God, and it won't be unhaunted until he confesses. But he doesn't have to confess because he lives in really nice hotels. And the ghosts can't go in no nice hotels. People don't know that. Unless they're hotel ghosts.
1408.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's hotel ghosts, there's house ghosts. Very different world.
Right, yeah.
Those don't cross. I know a lot of shit, bro. Jeffrey, I'm really excited to tell you this movie.
Yeah.
Don't look at the screen.
Okay.
I'm about to blow your fucking cat back. Bean Mafia.
My what?
We're fucking back. This is another banger. This is my favorite shit to tell Jeffrey. Jeffrey, you ready?
Okay.
Movie starts. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh.
We see the amazing background. Marvel Studios. It's nighttime. We see 3 figures cloaked up. They're walking, right?
Okay.
We see a man in a mythical ass kind of looking library. Like really like mythical looking. Like old, like clearly some different world, type shit. He sees the 3 people walk in. He looks around. He's fucking like the 3 people walk in at the front door.
Yeah.
And he looks around. He's completely surrounded from the back and the sides. And he's like, oh shit. They immediately like with their hands, they go like shing, and they like with their hand like all of them pull out these like lassos, right? Like just out of magic, and they lasso his arms and his legs. So now he's like this, and he's up. You see a motherfucking dude walk up. He takes his cloak off, pulls out 2 swords, cuts his fucking head off. You see a fucking head come off, bro. Okay. Right?
Hot start.
Yeah. You see him turn around. He walks over to this it's like we're in a library. There's but some of the books are chained up. They're like chained up.
Okay.
He takes off the chains. He opens a book, turns to a certain page, and he tears out a certain page. Then he drops the book. And then you hear from the background, Master Caecilius, that ritual will only bring you sorrow. And you see a yellow cloak. It's a woman. It's like a tiny woman, but you can't but you just see like a yellow robe, right? Like a cloaked up motherfucker. And then you see the Caecilius dude, the bad guy, look with all his crew. They fucking take off running. They run through like this little portal tunnel. They run through it. They're in the middle of New York City. Now they're they're running, bro. They sprinting. While they're running, boom, they run into like an invisible mirror. They turn around. The yellow robed lady is behind them. She's like right behind them. She moves her hand like this, and the whole world completely bends on some like Inception shit. You ever seen Inception?
Okay, yeah.
Like that, like the world just like bends counterclockwise. You know what I mean? And then the one dude, the Caecilius dude's like, hypocrite! And then she tolls the whole world again, so now they're on their side. And they're like falling. Bro, it's so fire. Like the graphics are insane. And then they start.
You see that and you yell hypocrite.
Bro, like what is that about, right?
Oh, this again.
Oh, you think I wasn't listening earlier? Because that is what you're saying. So they come at her to fight, bro, and they use those lasso things, like the magical lassos that they make, and they lasso her feet, bro. She easily, like, with her, like this little lady with her feet, like just moves them, and they fucking throw, bro. And she kills them. Then she kills a couple other dudes and like kicks a nigga, and then uses a building and like crunches them with it. Like, bro, she's killing these niggas, dog. Yeah. She throws her hand, and then like she fucking does the thing. Remember from Infinity War? When I told you the thing that Doctor Strange was like, and like the shields come up?
Yeah.
She does that shit.
Okay.
The shields come up. You know what I'm saying? And she's just killing these niggas, kicking their ass. It's only Caecilius and 3 of the other dudes left. And they take off through another portal. But they're like far away. So she turns, she sees Caecilius, the main dude, and these 3 other little minions that he has. They run through another portal. She calmly like gets the world to come completely back to normal. Like just notice calmly does it with her hand. She fucking opens up another portal. She calmly walks through it. She's back in New York normally. The angle, this is all from one angle, just like the back of her. We haven't seen her face yet. She takes the robe off. You see her bald white head. Okay, the back of her head, and then you hear music kick in. But when you wish upon a star, and the credits start rolling. Dreams will take you very far. Yeah, we see our fucking lead, motherfucking Doctor Strange, nigga.
Okay.
Benedict Cumberbatch. He's in surgery. He's got his motherfucking surgery mask on. You know what I'm saying? He's a surgeon. You know, he's the one bumping the music. Okay, like he's the one in surgery playing this music, right? And he's in a big surgery room and everyone's watching him. He's clearly like a big time doctor.
Right.
And he asks for he's like, doctor, give me another challenge. The doctor plays another song. He says exactly when the song was made. He knows everything about the song and the year it came out. Okay. Like he's just a fucking genius. Right. You know what I mean? And the other doctors are kind of annoyed by how smart he is because he's kind of being a dick about it. You see Rachel McAdams run in. That's our lead woman. You know Rachel McAdams is?
Yeah.
She's the lead woman. She runs in. And then she's like, yo, I got to show you something. She shows him a man with a bullet stuck in his fucking head. And she's like, you know, they called him dead, yada, yada. We need a specialist just to go over it. Can you look over this? And then he notices something, and he's like, run. They take off running, and they see the other doctor, and the doctor's like, you know, he's like, what are you doing? He's like, I called him brain dead. Guys, yada, yada, he's dead. He goes, he's not dead. He's like, but he is dead. He goes, he's not dead. He's dying. He goes, what are you talking about? And he breaks it down to him like how the bullet's still completely solid and it's just in this little nerve, but if you take it out, we can probably still save him, yada, yada. And he's like, what? And the guy, he's like, he looks at the doctor's like, I'm going to assist you. He goes, no, Dr. Palmer will. They take off. Dr. Palmer's Rachel McAdams.
Right.
So he's being a dick, by the way. Like he's yelling at everybody and like while he's doing all this, he's super smart. He's right. But he's being an asshole.
I haven't seen the show, but is it like House? I haven't seen House, but is he like House?
I haven't seen House, and he's exactly like House. Okay. Jeffrey, I've also never seen House. So let me tell you something, my nigga.
Just like House.
Nigga, you know what I'm saying? This nigga is Houseful, and he's British. This nigga's House.
Okay. British House.
Yeah, but I've never seen House. I'm sure it's good. But this nigga's definitely House.
I mean, you've seen this.
I've seen this, and I've never seen House, but this is House.
Yeah.
This has got to be House.
Well, I think House, he's like handicapped.
This nigga's, he's a superhero. Not yet, but at some point.
Yeah. We all have our own things to overcome.
Yeah, he has to overcome that.
Yeah.
That's hard.
Yeah.
So he's being a dick to everybody. And then they start working on the dude. The music's super intense. And then she looks at him, Rachel McAdams. She's like, thank you for picking me. He's like, he just kind of like nods. And then he's like, yo, I'm going to have to get this bullet out freehand. And they're like, yo, don't be trying to show off now, strange, yada, yada. And he's like, oh, I'm not showing off. Oh, like when you showed off 10 minutes ago when you called the man dead. And the guy gets quiet. And then he's like, all right, I need complete silence. And then he grabs a little tool. And then you just hear the sound of a watch ticking. Like, tick, 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 tick. And then he goes, doctor. And the doctor's like, and covers his watch, bro. He's like, thank you. And then it's completely silent. He reaches in. This nigga pulls out a bullet out this nigga's head, bro. Like with his just steady hand, right? And then he puts the bullet out, and the guy's still alive. Like he's an unreal surgeon.
Yeah, that's some Jesus shit.
He's on some Jesus shit, bro.
Yeah.
So they go out and they tell the family. The family hugs Rachel. They're so happy. The family tries to hug him, and he like doesn't. Because, he's just an asshole. He's a doctor. He's like, he didn't want to hug him. So he's walking with...
He prefers people when they're almost dead.
Yeah. He's like, I like it when they're almost dead and I can save them. And then they're still unconscious and I walk away. The moment I got to talk to, God. Yeah, he's alive. All right. Then, when they're hugging him, he's like, God, this is when I wish I just let him die.
Yeah, I preferred you when you were almost dead.
Remember when you guys were sad? Stay sad.
He just puts the bullet back in his brain.
Just so you can avoid the hug. Yeah. He thinks about the hug when it's almost done. He's like, I don't give him. So he brags about, he's walking with Christine, and he's bragging about how fucking good he is. And he gets on her for working ER. She does ER work, emergency room work. Mm-hmm. And she's like, well, we can't all be, high-level surgeons like you who just want to do it for the interviews and the books they write and yada, yada. Like, he's rich and famous like that.
Okay.
When it comes to being a doctor.
He's like Dr. Oz.
He's like Dr. Oz, which I've never also seen.
Yeah, I've never seen that
But
either.
I'm assuming.
But he's a famous doctor.
He's a famous doctor. So imagine if Dr. Oz and House were the same person.
Dr. Martin Luther King. Just
and
like
Dr. Martin Luther King.
Yeah, another famous doctor.
And Dr. Strange. Now, if you put them all together, it's a superhero, bro.
Oh, wow.
But we'll get to that whole Martin Luther King backstory as well.
That comes in. Okay, yeah.
Well, everything comes in. So he's talking to her. He's asking about her day, her dating life, and yada yada. And they've clearly they used to date. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And he asked her to come to a speaking engagement with him. He's like, "Come on, it used to be fun." She's like, "It wasn't fun. It was always just about you." He goes, "It wasn't always about me." And she's like, "It's always about you, Steven." And she laughs. She walks off. Right? She goes back to work. We see him getting dressed up super fancy back at his house. We see all his he opens up a drawer and it's just like what you'd imagine a billionaire's watch collection would look like.
Okay.
Just all these insane watches, right? And he grabs a fancy one. He's got the tux on. He goes downstairs. He gets in one of his Lambos, fucking drives out. Like he's like on some Iron Man shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? He's speeding like a madman, like around this mountain. You know what I mean? Like speeding like crazy. Mm-hmm. Right then, his assistant calls him, and he's like, "Hey, doctor, I know you were looking for a surgery." And he goes, "Yeah, you have anything worth my time?" And he's like, "All right, what about?" He starts pitching them people that are dying, mm-hmm. And he's like, "Nope, that guy's dead. Nope, I'm not ruining my perfect record for that." He's just being a dick, bro. And then his assistant sends him one, and he's like, "Ooh, I like this." And he's looking at the scan. Bam! Huge car crash. Car flips a bunch, falls downhill into some water. As it's flipping, you see a slow-mo shot of his hands on the wheel, like he's gripping it like this.
Yeah.
He's fucking getting hit, and he knocks out, and his hands and the fucking whole engine and everything envelops on his hands. It's a nasty shot, bro. You see that shit crush his hands, bro.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Right? And then the car flips, boom, 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 lands in the water. Fade to black. You see him knocked out. When he comes to, he's completely fucked up. You see his face. I mean, it's on some the beginning of Kill Bill Volume 1. Okay. You know what I mean? Just you don't even recognize him.
Right.
And you see him kind of coming in and out, and Christine is rushing him to surgery. You see him pass back out. He wakes back up. His face is busted to shit. Christine's there, and he's looking around, and she's like, "It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay." And he looks down at his hands. His hands are in a motherfucking these slings, and they're in cast, and then the fucking a million needles, mm-hmm, and not all that shit, and they're like this, and all the millions and hundreds of pins in them, and they got fucking veins all out and shit. And he's like, "What did they do?" And she's like, "They rushed you in a chopper. It took a while to find you. By the time they found you, the nerve damage was lost, and you were still in the car." And he goes, "What did they do?" She's like, "It's 11 pins in your bones with severe nerve damage in both hands. You were on the table 11 hours. And he goes, "Look at this." She goes, "Steven, no one could have done better. I could have done better." This guy's an asshole, man. So you see time pass. His face is fine. He heals up his face. Mm-hmm. The needles are out of his hands, but his hands are fucked and they're just shaking. And he's so mad. This nigga's hot. "You fucking ruined me." He takes meetings with other doctors and he asks for experimental surgery. They're like, "It's going to be expensive, but it's possible." And he's like, "Okay, I don't care." He starts getting all these surgeries and he's telling people what to do, and nothing's getting better. Mm-hmm. You see him going to therapy. He's trying to open. They got his little hand on these little rubber bands, and he's just trying to open his hand all the way. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And he fucking can't. And he's like, "Ah!" And he's getting so pissed. He's like, "This is useless." He's got a huge beard now. And you see the guy go, his therapist, this black dude's like, "It's not useless, man. You got to just, it takes time." And he goes, "Okay, answer me this bachelor's degree." He said, "Who have you ever known to be injured like this and actually recovered?" And he goes, "Yeah, I actually did know somebody." He goes, "Who?" He goes, "I know about a guy who couldn't walk. His body was fucked up. He couldn't do anything, and we couldn't help him. But then 3 years later, I saw him walking down the street." And he's like, "Bullshit." He goes, "You know what? It's going to take me some time to find that file, but if it proves your arrogant ass wrong, it's so worth it." And he's like, "All right." And he gets back to work, right?
What about doctor-client confidentiality?
Right?
Well, if it's to prove his arrogant ass wrong.
This guy's a dick. I mean, Berner, I've been saying, he's a real poopy
They do say the one exception is if somebody's being a real jerk.
If someone, it's doctor-patient confidentiality, unless a dude's being a real poopy pants.
If you need to prove somebody wrong.
Just because they're being kind of an asshole about something.
Yeah.
Just kind of. I mean, they're going through something, so
Yeah,
it
they
makes
are going
sense.
through-
It makes a lot of sense why they're being upset.
Right.
So cut to him. He's trying to get more people to do experimental surgery, right? And now people are saying no. Like, he's got to give up. Like, doctors are turning him down. He fucking gets so mad, he breaks his laptop, right? And he's overlooking his beautiful place, and he's just fucking looking out the window, and he's pissed. It's storming. Christine comes in, and she sees him, and she's like, they won't do it. And he's like, he's a hack. He's like, bro, Doctor Strange is on one, fool. He's like, this is how he is, I swear to God.
More like Dr. Irritable. Do they do jokes like that 80 times throughout the movie?
Kind of in Infinity War, there's a lot of jokes about how he's a little bit. There was actually a lot of jokes about how he's a dick in Infinity War a little bit.
Oh, I just meant like on the word doctor. Someone says strange, Doctor Strange, more like Dr. Irritable.
Oh, you know what? We'll get to the jokes on the Doctor wordplay. We'll get there.
Okay, sweet.
We're not there.
Okay.
We'll get there. You're 100% right. We'll get there. We're not there yet, Jeffrey. You're jumping ahead. So Christine comes in and she sees him, and she's like, he's a hack, and he goes, but don't worry, there's something I found in Tokyo. I need a loan, maybe a loan. She goes, Steven. She goes, you've always spent money, but now you're spending money you don't even have. And she's like, it's time to stop. And he goes, it's not time to stop. I'm not getting better. And then she's like, this is mania, Steven. And then he's like, you don't understand life without my work. And then she's like, it's still life. Other things can give your life meaning. And he goes, like what? Like you? And she's like, this is the part where you apologize. He goes, this is the part where you leave. And then she's like, I can't watch you do this to yourself. It's too difficult. He goes, don't you do that. Don't you pity me. What are you doing here, huh? We aren't friends. We were barely lovers. You love a sob story, don't you, Christine? I finally need you now, huh? Think you're going to patch me up? You care so much, don't you? And then she's just crying, obviously.
Yeah, this
guy's just yelling at her. And she's like, you're supposed to be a superhero.
Yeah, this is...
And then
wow.
She goes, bye, Steven. And also, he's a really good actor. I don't know if you know this about Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah. No, this is
tremendous actor.
This is pretty serious for a superhero movie so far.
Yeah, right. There's been no superheroes.
Yeah. It's just
she leaves, right? When she leaves, we see him that night later. He's trying to open up his mail, and he opens up his mail, and it's a file, and it says on it, there's a little post-it note, and it just says, "Told you so." And he goes through it. And he finds the guy's name, and he goes through his shit. And when he sees the name, he goes, he like remembers something, and he can't believe it. Cut to him in a basketball court, and we see a dude hooping on the court, and he's just watching him. And then you see the dude run and go get like some water on the side, and then Dr. Strange comes up, and he's like, Jonathan Pangborn, spinal injury, paralyzed, chest down, and in both hands. And the dude looks at him, and he's like, I know you. He goes, I'm Stephen Strange, a neurosurgeon. And he goes, oh yeah, I do remember you. I came to see you. You wouldn't see me. You said I was a lost cause. And Dr. Strange is like, you were untreatable. You came back from a place where no one comes back. And the guy kind of looks at him, and then Dr. Strange holds up his hands, and they're like this. And he's like, I'm trying to find my own way back. And the guy like feels bad. He's like, all right, man. And he kind of leans in and he goes, look, I'd given up on my body. I figured all I had left was my mind, right? Might as well elevate that. So I sat with gurus, ancient women, until I finally found my teacher. And my mind was elevated. My spirit deepened. My body healed. And he goes, whoa. He goes, but there were deeper secrets to learn. I chose not to receive them. I came home with my gift and left it at that. The place you're looking for is called Camartage, but the cost is high. And Dr. Strange is like, how much? I ain't talking money, man. And he walks off. Right?
just some conversation on the court.
Just some conversation. There's basketball going on while this is happening.
Camartage.
Camartage. Cut to across the world.
I'm almost to a triple-double, if you'll excuse me. It's like
I'm almost to it.
context or...
That's so funny, Jerry. Cut to across the world. Strange is looking for Camartage, and he's looking for a long time. Like, he's searching, bro. Finally, like, while he's searching, one of the days, you see a guy hear him and start, like a guy in a cloak, and he hears him. He's like, I'm looking for Camartage, and he starts following him, right? And he follows him through this alley, And you see Doctor Strange walking, and then a bunch of guys come up on Doctor Strange. And Doctor Strange is like, look, I don't have any money. And then they're like, your watch. He's like, please, not my watch. It's all I have left. Your watch. And Doctor Strange is like, ah. And he punches the dude, and he's like, ah, because his fucking hands are fucked up, right? They start kicking the shit out of him. They kick his ass. They take his watch. Right then the cloak dude comes up, beats the fuck out of these guys, easy as fuck. They run off. He takes the watch back, and he hands it to Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange looks at the watch. It's all cracked and broken. And then you see under the cloak, a guy goes, you're looking for Kamatage. And he raises his hood. It's the actor Chiwetel Ejiofor. You know the black guy from like 12 Years a Slave and Four Brothers. He's the bad guy.
Oh, it's been so long since I saw Four Brothers.
I can just show you a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he great actor. Legitimately one of the better actors out right now. Don't look, Jeffrey, don't look, because I want your butt.
It's a weird song.
Hold on. Why the fuck is it not coming up?
I mean,
here we go.
Can I?
Chiwetel Ejiofor, this guy.
And that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Great actor. Very, very, very talented. Definitely one of the better actors out right now. So he comes up and he takes the hood off and he's like, looking for Kamatage. And Strange nods and he takes him to this building. But Strange is looking, but like the building he's taking him to is like an old raggedy door. You know, it just looks like a random door like in a building. And he's looking across the street and it's like a more mystical looking place. And he's like, you sure this is Kamatage? This building? It's not this over here? And the black dude turns around, he looks at him, and he's like, I once stood in your place, and I too was disrespectful. You see Dr. Strange kind of go like, what the fuck? And he goes, so can I offer you some advice? Forget everything you think you know. Dr. Strange is like, okay. Right? Because he just can't not be a dick, bro.
Right. Well, that advice is very contrary to his character so far.
Extremely.
Yeah. He knows things.
He knows a lot of things.
Yeah, he's a thing knower.
You remember the song scene?
Yeah, he knew things.
That's the whole point.
Yeah, people are like, fuck this guy and he's known things.
Knows all the things. Yeah. That's so annoying about it. So he takes him in a room, right? And he goes, where are you taking me? He goes, I'm taking you to the Ancient One. He goes, what's his real name? And he stares at him. And he goes, that's right, forget everything I know. And then they walk into a room and he sees an old like Asian dude sitting down like in a big like kind of seat reading a book, right? And he looks at him. Dr. Strange's like, thank you for seeing me. And then right then a woman walks up and she starts pouring tea for him. And he's like, thank you. He goes, ancient one, I truly appreciate you saying. And then right then the old guy gets up and walks off. And he's kind of like, what the fuck? And then the woman is like, so you wanted to see me? And he turns and it's Tilda Swinton.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, she's like, Mrs. Strange? And he goes, doctor. She goes, well, you're not a doctor anymore. And he's like, the fuck, you know?
Yeah.
And then she goes, you've had how many procedures on your hands? 7, correct? And he's like, yes. And he goes, did you heal a man named Pangborn? And she goes, in a way. And he goes, how did you correct his spine? It doesn't make sense. And she goes, I didn't. He couldn't walk, and I convinced him he could. And he's like, what the? And he goes, and then she says, when you heal the body, and he's like, what do you mean? Like, how could you do that? Yada, yada. And, you know, like with like science, like, did you figure out how to do all this stuff? And she goes, well, when you heal the body, is it you that heals the body, or is it the cells? And then he's like, the cells. And she's like, yes. She goes, but what if I told you your body can put itself back together in all sorts of ways? And then he's like, wait, like, how experimental is your treatment? Like, he's thinking she's talking about like some cell regeneration shit.
Right.
Like, right? He's like, oh my God, like this isn't even like you're thinking this is breakthrough technology. Like, oh my Lord, what? Like, what? You know, like how have you figured this out? He's like, you figured out a way to make nerves self-heal? Like, that science is crazy. And she goes, no, doctor. What I did was figure out how to rearrange the spirit so the body could heal itself. And he's like, okay, where do we start? She's like, all right. And she holds up an old book and she opens it and he's like, what the fuck? And she's like, you don't like this map? He goes, I've seen this in gift shops. And she changes the page and she's like, what about this? He's like, acupuncture? Are you trying to tell me about acupuncture? It's just a picture of a guy with needles in him. And she's like, okay, what about this? And then it's a dude, it's like the first ever MRI scan. Okay. He goes, that's an MRI. He goes, I don't believe this. Are you kidding me? With this is what you're talking about, healing a man? And she goes, each of these maps, Dr. Strange, are parts that someone saw, just not the whole. And then he starts going off about how stupid this is and like, what the hell are you talking about, yada, yada. And she goes, Dr. Strange, you're a man looking through a keyhole. You spent your whole life wanting to know more. And I'm finally giving you the chance. I'm finally telling you that there's a possibility that you can, and you reject it. And then he's like, look, there's no such thing as a spirit. We are all made of matter and nothing more. You are a speck on an indifferent universe. You think you see through me? I see through you. And he touches her like that, and she like grabs his hands easily and just like turns it. And he's like, ah. And then she just goes, poof, like hits his chest. And this nigga comes out of his body. Like, you see his body falling in real time, but you see a spirit come out of his body. And he's like, and he's looking around, and then she brings him back, and she's holding him. He's like, what did you do to me? And she's like, I pushed your astral form out of your physical form. He's like, what the hell's in that tea? She's like, just tea with a little honey. And he's like, what happened? And she's like, you entered the astral dimension. He's like, what are you doing to me? And she's like, I'm showing you, Dr. Strange, how much you don't know. Open your eyes. And she touches his head, and this nigga starts shooting through space, bro. Ah! Right? And she's like, what's happening? This isn't real. And he's like on an acid trip, and he's flying through all this shit. And then you hear like a voiceover like go, his heart rate is going up. And she's like, no, he's fine. And then cut to he's back in the chair, and she's like, he looks all right to me. And she touches his head again. He's like, ah! And this thing is flying through like different versions of himself and different realities and different dimensions. And bro, it's so cool.
Yeah, the graphics I bet this looks beautiful.
Oh my God. It's unreal, bro. And like, you see him like land on like, like look down at his hands, and his hands start growing little hands on each of his fingers. And then those hands grow little hands on each other. And he's just like, yeah. And then it turns out that he's just a bunch of hands on hands. And then like they all become ones, and he falls in the eye. And then you see him going through a bunch of different universes, and you hear Tilda Swinton, and she's like, this universe is one of infinite numbers, some benevolent and life-giving, others filled with malice, hunger, dark places where powers old as time lay ravenous and waiting. And he's like falling through this evil, like dark looking shit, and you see this evil vibrating face. It's the best way I can put it. It's like purple, and his eyes are white, and it's like going really fast, right? I'll show you a picture of it later. But you see it like a glimpse of it.
Okay.
And he falls through that, and then you hear, who are you in this vast multiverse, Mr. Strange? And he keeps flying through a bunch of different realities, and then he lands back in the chair. And then he's like, and she's like, have you ever seen that before in a gift shop? And his hands are shaking, and he's like, teach me. And she's like, no. And he cut to, he's just thrown outside like on some jazz and Fresh Prince shit.
Yeah.
He's like, no. And he's slamming on the door. Please open the door, please. So time passes.
Man, that's crazy that after all that, he's like, it wasn't like, man, fuck this shit.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Wouldn't you be like, yeah, this is, I got to take at least a few days to chill.
To realize that, whoa, man,
yeah.
Somebody like that kind of power and what kind of reality and dimension.
I got to have a few meals between
just wanting to immediately be in it. So you see the ancient one, she's working on some shit. And you see his name's Mordu, the black dude. His name's Mordu. He walks up, and she's like, was I wrong to cast him out? And then Mordu's like, 5 hours later, and he's still on your doorstep. There's a strength to him. And then she goes, yeah, stubborn, arrogance. I've seen it all before. And he goes, Caecilius, the dude they were fighting earlier. And she goes, and Mordu's like, yeah, you lost him, but you didn't lose me. You gave me the power to beat my demons and live in the natural law. And she goes, Mordu, we never beat our demons. We just learned to live above them. And then he's like, there's going to be dark days ahead, Ancient One. We may need a man like Strange. And she's like, kind of thinks about it. Cut to it's nighttime, and he's still sitting on the door. They open it, and he just like falls backwards in it. And you just hear him yell, thank you. Right? So they take him to a room, and Mordu's like, rest, meditate if you can. The Ancient One will send for you when it's time. And he hands him like a card, and it says Shambhala on it. And Dr. Strange is like, is this my mantra? He goes, no, it's the Wi-Fi password. We're not savages, man. And so he looks at his watch that's broken, and he takes it off, and he reads the back, and on the back it says, from Christine, time will tell how much I love you. Okay. So cut back to, we see Tilda talking to Dr. Strange, and she's telling him about spells. And then she's like, and and he kind of makes a face, and if she's like, if that word doesn't, acquire your tasting, call it programming or codes, if that makes it better, right? She goes, but what we do is we harness energy, and she opens her hands, and like the little shit comes out, like that gold shit, and she goes, and we draw powers from other dimensions and other multiverses to cast spells, conjure shields come up, weapons, to make and magic, and like shit like fucking comes out, and he's like, right? He's like, but even if I could get my fingers to do that, my hands would just be waving in the air. How do I get from here to there? And she goes, how did you reattach 7 nerves? He goes, study and years of practice. And then she just smiles. And he's like, oh. Right? So cut to, he goes to that library from the beginning of the movie, right? And you see him walk up, and you hear one of our other leads in this universe, one of my favorite characters in the whole Marvel universe, motherfucking Wong, bro. Wong,
Okay,
you remember Wong from
yeah.
Infinity War? Yeah. So you see this because this came out way before, obviously. So this is the first time you're seeing any of these characters, okay? So you see Wong for the first time, and he's like, what's your name? Dr. Strange is like, what's your name? He's like, I'm Wong. He's like, just Wong? He doesn't say anything. He goes, like Adele? And he doesn't say anything. He goes, or Aristotle? Drake? Bono? Eminem? And then Wong's like, just doesn't say shit and just grabs all the books. And he goes, you finished all these books already? And it's like 6 books. And Dr. Strange is like, yep. I'm trying to see if I can take out these. And Wong's like, come with me. And they come to the back, and he goes, this is for masters only, but under my discretion, anyone can use it. And he starts giving them books out of the chains, right? And there's another thing of books that are higher up in the chains. And Dr. Strange is like, what are those? He goes, those are from the Ancient One's private collection. And Dr. Strange is like, are they forbidden? He goes, nothing is forbidden in this library. They are just too advanced for anyone other than the Sorcerer Supreme. And then Dr. Strange grabs one of those, and he looks at it, and he's like, there's pages missing in this one. And he goes, that's the book of Cagliostro for time. One ritual was stolen from one of the former masters, Caecilius. He got it from our former librarian by cutting off his head. And then you see right then, he grabs the book from Dr. Strange, and he goes, now I guard these books. So if something were to be stolen again, I'd know, and you'd be dead before you left the compound. And he slams the book down, and Dr. Strange is like, what if it's just overdue? And he's like, and no laugh, right? He goes, really? No laugh? He goes, all right. Well, thanks for the books and the horrifying story and threatening my life. And then Wong still doesn't laugh, and he leaves, and then Wong kind of smiles, right? So we see Caecilius, and he's studying the page he torn out. And he goes, we now receive the power of the one who betrayed us. The one who betrays the world. And they do this evil red ritual, and you see all this red fucking shit come up in front of them, and their eyes go all purple, and their eyes they glaze over, and they have a red symbol coming out their head. I'll show you a picture, because bro, they are freaky. Okay. The rest of the movie, when you see them, these motherfuckers is freaky looking, bro. But look at this. Like that.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's how they look the whole movie. So they look fucking freaky as shit, bro. All right. So you see all them, they do that ritual, and then they get like real. Now they're like connected with the dark side. Like that's what they did. They did a ritual. That's what the pages they stole.
Right,
so
right.
they can completely connect with the dark side, right? They immediately start. You know how Tilda Swinton in the earlier was like bending shit.
Mm-hmm.
They now can do that. So they start bending the world and shit, right? We see Strange out with everyone in the courtyard, like with all the other fucking people, you know, and he's training with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they all are doing all the cool shield shit, and he can't do anything with his hands. So you see Mordu tell him, mastery of your sling ring, and he puts on the little ring. He goes, is essential to the mystic arts. It lets us travel through the multiverse, look behind the world we're in and in front of you. He goes, and then he starts like trying to do it, and he can't do it. All he's doing is like little sparks are happening, but he can't get that circle to come up.
Okay.
Right? And he goes, you have to imagine every detail, Strange, clearer than the picture, and then the gateway will come. You see sparks kind of fly, but he can't do it. And then the Ancient One's like, let me talk to you for a moment, Strange. And he starts complaining. He's like, I can't do it. My hands just keep shaking. It won't allow it. And she goes, it's not about your hands. And he goes, how is this not about my hands? And she goes, Master Homia. And you see remember the old Asian dude from the beginning that he thought was the Ancient One? Mm-hmm. He walks up, and he shows that one of his hands is cut off.
Okay.
And he easily, shing, shing, like does a thing. And he's like, and she's like, you can't beat a river into submission. You have to surrender to its current, Master Strange, and use its power as your own. I control, he goes, so you want me to get control by surrendering control? That doesn't make sense. She goes, not everything does. Not everything has to. Surrender, Stephen. Silence your ego, and your power will rise. Come with me. She opens up a portal, and they walk through it, right? And they're on the top of Mount Everest. And she's like, oh. He's like, is this Everest? And she's like, yeah. And she's like, it's beautiful, isn't it? He's like, wow, it's freezing, but it's beautiful. She goes, Dr. Strange, at this temperature, a person can last 13 minutes, but you'll go into shock after 2. And she leaves him there. And he's like, no! So cut 2, you see Mordu walk up, and he's looking at Tilda Swinton. He's like, how's our new recruit? She's like, we'll see in a second. And he's like, oh, no, not this again. And he goes, maybe I should. And she stops him. And we see Strange. She's doing the circle. And you see little sparks happening, but nothing's happening. Mm-hmm. And he's like, ah! And he gets real mad. And then he calms himself. And he's like, cut back to, we see Mordu and the Ancient One waiting. And then finally a portal opens up, and this nigga falls through. And he's like freezing. And then they're like smiling, right? You see the next day he cuts his hair, and he shaves his beard, and he has the classic fucking Doctor Strange goatee. Okay? So now he's wearing the garbs like them, and he sees Wong, and he asks for a book on like astral projection, and he's like, you're not ready for that. Or he goes, oh, try me, Beyonce. And then Wong doesn't laugh. He's like, you haven't heard of Beyonce? Come on, you haven't heard of Beyonce? Do you ever laugh, Wong? And Wong's like, no. So cut to Wong a little bit later, and he's listening to Beyonce. And you see Strange sneaking around the library, stealing books and shit. Uh-huh. We see Strange, like his real body sleeping, but his astral body reading all the books. Like this nigga's becoming like a savant. So he's talking to Tilda Swinton, and she's like, once in this room, doctor, you begged me to learn. Now you're questioning everything anyone tells you. You're advancing very quickly with your sorcery. She goes, but you'll need a safe place to practice your spells. And then she casts something, right? She goes like, she casts a spell, and you see like all this mirror shit come up. And then they walk through it. And then she goes, you're now inside the mirror dimension. Ever present, but undetected. We use this to train, surveil, and contain threats. Don't get stuck in here without your sling ring. And he goes, what do you mean threats? And she's like, Dr. Strange, learning of infinite multiverses also means of infinite dangers. And he's like, what the fuck? Right? So the next day he's talking to Mordu, and he's asking the Mordu how old the Ancient One really is. And he's like, no one knows the age of the Sorcerer Supreme. He goes, but I'll tell you this, doctor. She made me what I am. Trust your teacher and don't lose your way. And then Dr. Strange is like, what, like Caecilius? And then cut to, they're in a training room, and they're like practicing hand-to-hand combat. Mm-hmm. So they start fighting, right? And while they're fighting, he tells him the story of Caecilius. He was proud, headstrong, but he rejected her teaching finally. Left Carmitage. His disciples followed him. And he stole and then he goes, and then Dr. Strange is like, and that's when he stole the ritual? And he's like, yes. He goes, what did the ritual do? And he goes, no more questions. And then Mordo grabs something, right? And he goes, this, doctor, is a relic. And it's like a little stick. And he goes, some powers are too much to contain. So we put them in something. These are the vaulting boots of Altar. And then like you see like sparks come off the boots. And he goes, when do I get my relic? He goes, your relic chooses you when you're ready. Okay. And he goes, but for now, conjure a weapon. And so all Strange could do is make like a little string, like a little lasso. And he goes, fight! And he starts trying to kill this nigga, bro. Like he starts trying to kill him. And Dr. Strange is like, hey. And he's like, fight like your life depends on it. He's like, hey, man. Like, you know, and he's like, and then he stops and he goes, because one day, Strange, it may. And Strange is like, cut to, he's at the library late night. He grabs the book Caecilius stole. Remember the book with the pages that he stole from the beginning? And he's eating apple and he's looking at the book. And then he looks up at this relic ahead.
Of course, he's eating the apple. That's a really good detail, yeah.
He's eating the apple. And he looks ahead. And ahead, Jeffrey Berner, I don't know if you remember in Infinity War, but you remember there was a little necklace that hang from our boy's neck?
Yes.
It was very important.
Yes.
There was something in that necklace that was very, and I mean, crucially important to the plot line.
Yeah.
So he sees that little necklace for the first time.
Okay.
He's looking at it.
This probably isn't a big deal in this scene, right? This is one they probably could have cut out.
Well, you tell me after the end of it.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay.
You're right. I'll let you decide. So he looks at it, and then he turns and he looks around, and he's like, Wong? He goes up and he grabs a necklace and he puts it on, and he opens the eye of Agamotto, and you see the green light come on, right? And he does the fucking like thing, and you know he's like, whoa, and then he uses it to like do a spell, and he puts like a green like kind of like glove thing comes on his hand, right? And then he looks at the apple that he's been chewing on, and he goes like this, and the apple's completely eaten and like rots, and then he goes like this, and the apple's back to brand new.
Okay.
And he's like, and he just keeps going back and forth, and he's like, oh my. And then he thinks about it, and then he looks at the pages at the stolen book. And he's like, and then he uses it on that, and he brings the pages back. And he's like, and he starts reading, and he's like, Dark Dimension, Dormammu, Eternal Life. And then you hear, stop! Tampering with probabilities is forbidden. And he goes, oh, I'm sorry, I just did what the book said. And then Mordu's like, that can create branches in time loops, spatial paradoxes. Do you want to live in the same moment forever or never exist at all? And Wong's like, your curiosity could have got you killed, Strange. He goes, well, to be fair, they should really put the warnings before the spells. And he goes, you are breaking the space-time continuum. We don't tamper with natural law. That's what Mordu's saying, right? Uh-huh. And he goes, by the way, how did you do that? He goes, what do you mean? He goes, it's impossible to do those spells. How did you already get to the point where you could do that? He goes, I have a photogenic memory. It's how I got through college so fast. He goes, what you did requires more than a photogenic memory. He goes, yeah, maybe, but my hands still shake. And he holds them up and his hands shake. He goes, what are we even doing, huh? And then Wong looks at him. He's like, well, Dr. Strange, while heroes like the Avengers protect the world from physical dangers, we sorcerers guard it from mystical threats. The Ancient One is from a long line of sorcerer supremes back to Agamotto himself, who built the three sanctums in the places of power that he knew would remain. The door to Hong Kong sanctum, the New York sanctum, and the London sanctum. Together, they put a shield around the world. The sanctum protect the world. We protect the sanctums. And then Dr. Strange is like, from Dormammu. And then they're like, where'd you learn that name? He goes, I read it in the book. And Wong's like, he dwells in the dark dimension, beyond time, the cosmic conqueror, the being with infinite power and hunger. He hungers for Earth, though, most of all. The pages Caecilius stole are a ritual to contact him and draw power from the dark dimension. And then Dr. Strange is like, okay, I'm out. I came here to heal my fucking hands, bro, not fight a mystical war against mystical beings. And then right then, when he says that, you hear dung, 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 bells go off. And Wong is like, the London sanctum, right then they're looking at the doors, right? So you see a door to the London Sanctum, you see a door to the New York Sanctum, you see a door to the Hong Kong Sanctum. The London Sanctum door opens, and you see the guy, like one of their guys running through it, and right then a fucking this invisible looking knives, like something that you can see them, but they look sharp, but they're kind of invisible looking.
Okay.
Like almost like javelins if you can see through them. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And you see one go through the guy's chest, and they look up and they see Caecilius, and he has this fucking bomb above him, right? And they're like, "No, Caecilius!" And he drops it. Boom! It blows everything up, right? It blows up the London Sanctum. That's where they're at, and it blows through the door, and it blows Doctor Strange back into the door of the New York Sanctum. And when it blows him back, a bunch of fucking pillars fall, right? And he lands, and he looks up, and he's like, "Wong, more do." And he goes outside, and he's in New York, the place that we see in Infinity War in the beginning of the movie. You know what I mean? Like where the big fight happens in the beginning.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's 1778 Beaker Street,
right,
like that. And we see the New York Sanctum for the first time. And he goes back, and he's like, "Hello?" And he sees these 3 doors, and one has like a beach, and one has like a jungle, and they all have knobs, and he changes them, and like one is now the desert, and he's like, "Huh." And he keeps walking through, and he's like, "Hello?" And he passes this case, and he looks at it, and the case is holding a red cloak. And the cloak is kind of like floating back, kind of looking at him. And he's like, "The fuck?" So he walks past that, and then he hears something. So he goes to the front, and we see a black dude. And then you see Caecilius and his 3 minions come up. And the Caecilius is like, "Daniel, they made you master of this sanctum." And then the Daniel dude pulls out a weapon, and he goes, "Well, you know what that means." And then Caecilius goes, "It means you'll die protecting it." And they start fighting, and they fucking kill him really easy. And right when they're about to kill him, Strange is like, "Stop!" And it's too late. And they look at Strange, and they have those long invisible knives. And they go, "How long have you been at Camartage, Mr.?" And Dr. Strange goes, "It's Doctor." And they go, "Okay, Mr. Doctor." And he goes, "No, it's Strange." And the guy goes, "Maybe. Who am I to judge?" And then Strange is like, "Oh shit," and he makes the strings out of his hands, and this dude runs up the wall, and the other 2 minions run up, and they start fighting the shit out of him. And bro, they're trying to kill this motherfucker. And he's like, all he's got is his little string, and he's like defending himself, and he's like using it, and he takes off, and he tries to run away, and Caecilius makes the floor into like a treadmill, and he starts running back to him, and he's like, shit, and he goes back, and he tries to do like the shields thing, but he can't get one of them to come through, and he's like, "God damn it!" So he just has one, and they're beating his ass, and they're fucking him up, and then like Caecilius uses the hallway to turn him around a bunch of times and like flipping him over, and then he falls, and when he does fall, you see like they make the hallway like go like this, like it's circling, and then he makes the hallway like bend this way, so he's like falling, and when he looks down, he falls, and he notices that one girl is like standing right above the doorway to the desert that he turned, and he just falls and he kicks that bitch through that shit. So she goes way into the desert, right? And then he fights a dude, and he turns one of the knobs, and then he knocks one of the other dudes through another jungle portal, and he turns one of the knobs, right? So and then now it's just him and Caecilius. So Caecilius is chasing him around, and he's fighting him, and then Strange grabs something like one of the relics, and he's like, "You don't know how to use that," and he just throws it at him, right? And then Caecilius kicks his ass, and he throws his ass through a glass case, the case with the cape in it. Brother, and he goes to stab him, and the cape, boom, blocks it. And he's like, "The fuck?" And he goes to stab him again, the cape blocks it. And then the cape fucking, like pushes him, Caecilius. And he's like, "What the fuck?" So he kicks the shit out of Strange, and Strange falls off the balcony. The cape jumps down, pulls him up, and you like see the hero shot of like Doctor Strange flying for the first time, right? And so you see Caecilius like starts walking towards him, trying to fight him still, and you see Doctor Strange. He looks over, he sees an axe, and he goes to try to grab the axe, but the cape won't let him move. He's like, "What are you doing? Stop!" And the cape is like pointing at this other thing on the other wall, which is like this weird, like little, looks like a thing of armor.
Okay.
And he's like, "No, I want this." And the cape keeps pointing like, "No, this." Finally, Caecilius walks up, and he dodges something. Like, Caecilius tries to stab him, and he dodges it, and he grabs the thing off the wall, and he throws it at him. And, bro, that shit goes clink, Like it just hits his chest and then goes clink, and like locks him up, and then locks his arm behind his back, and then locks his legs up, and he just falls. And then Doctor Strange is like, oh. Right?
It's a smart cape.
Very smart cape, bro.
Yeah.
So you hear Caecilius start praying. He's like, stop. He's like, you can't stop this, Mr. Doctor. He's like, no, what is this? He's like, the end and the beginning. The many becoming the few and the one. Tell me, Mr. Doctor. He goes, I'm Dr. Stephen Strange, okay? A scientist. He goes, well, if you're a scientist, you understand all things perish. But the dark dimension is a place not among time. We can be a part of the one, the great and beautiful one, and live forever. What he goes, and gain eternal life. Time is the true enemy, Doctor. It kills everything. You know? He goes, for we are but tiny, momentary specks in an indifferent universe. And like you see Doctor Strange's eyes kind of go like, oh shit, like fucking I said that shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he goes, the world longs for the eternal. Time enslaves us. It's an insult. Death is an insult. We don't seek to rule this world. We seek to save it. Dormammu is evolution. Right? And he goes, Doctor Strange looks at him. He goes, the Sorcerer Supreme defends existence. He goes, you know, he goes, the Sorcerer Supreme defends existence. And Caecilius goes, what brought you to Carmitage? Enlightenment? No, you came to be healed. It's a place where she collects broken things and then gives us parlor tricks as she keeps the real magic to herself. You ever wonder how she lived so long? You know, I saw the rituals in the book. He goes, so you know, the ritual lets me overpower her and let the dark dimension in. What she hoards, Dormammu gives freely, life everlasting. He is the savior of the world. And then Doctor Strange is like, look at your face, man. He goes, you think that's what anyone wants? You murder people. How good can your kingdom really be? And motherfucking Caecilius starts laughing. He goes, oh, you think that's funny? And Caecilius goes, no. It's funny that you lost your sling ring and haven't noticed. And he turns, and it's fucking one of those fucking other minions, stabs that nigga right in the fucking chest, bro. Hits right with the invisible knife, right? And then he throws him, and so you see him like crawling, and he's bleeding, and he's trying to crawl away, and the guy walks up to go kill him, and right then the cape goes off and goes around the dude's face and starts slamming him against the fucking wall, right? So you see fucking our boy get up, and he does a sling ring thing, and he opens up a portal, because he takes the sling ring from the guy who's getting slammed around, and he opens up a portal, and he fucking, he goes through, and when he goes through, he's in the closet of the hospital. So he opens the door, he's bleeding out, he's like, Christine! And he's like, they're like, Steven? He's like, where's Christine? They're like, she's at the nursing station. He's like, Christine. And she's like, oh my God. He's like, I need an operating table. She's like, all right, let me get people. And she's like, no, just you. She's like, what happened? And they go into an operating table, like a room, like by themselves. And she's like, what are you wearing? She's like, stop. Someone stabbed me. And she starts working on him, and he passes out. And she's like, no. And she hooks him up to stuff, and she grabs this big needle, and we see him jump out of his body, like into the astral form thing, like out into like the spirit world. And then he's looking at her and he's watching, and she's about to puncture him. And then he, even into the astral world, he jumps like into another, like he jumps through like another dimension. Now he's in like the real reality, but it's his astral self. It's his like spirit self. You know what I mean? But he's like in this reality.
Okay.
And he goes a little higher, and she's like, oh, what the fuck? And he's like, what are you doing? He's like, this is my astral body. She goes, are you dead? He goes, no, but I'm dying. She goes, right. He's like, all right, calm down. He puts his astro hand inside his real body, and it lights up his chest for her. And she's like, oh my God. And then she's like, I've never seen a wound like this. What were you stabbed with? He's like, I don't know. We see the bad guy who's fighting the cape getting slammed around everywhere. He jumps out of his body, right? And then he goes through the portal, and then he finds fucking Doctor Strange, and he's like, yo, I have to vanish. Just keep me alive, will you? And she's like, okay. And he vanishes, and then you see like a wide shot of her in the room by herself, and she's like, okay. So back to the astral world, these niggas are fighting their asses off, right? They're fighting. You see this nigga knock Doctor Strange out cold. He's dead. Like, Doctor Strange is dead. Like, beep. And she's like, no. Christine does the fucking zzz, clear. Boom, does the thing to him. It It shocks this nigga so much, it blasts the other dude back. And he's like, so he comes out into the world, like into the real world with her, and he's like, hit me again. She's like, but your heart's already beating. He's like, just do it. She's like, all right. And then this nigga, Dr. Strange, grabs that guy. She's like, clear. Boom. It does so much shock, it kills him. And you see this nigga's like, he's like in the real world with the cape, with his head, it like blows.
Okay.
Right? And this nigga dies. Okay?
Wow. That's
so, it's fucked up.
Yeah, that move.
The old clear.
Yeah.
Use that energy in the Astro world.
I think I saw Mike Tyson use that once.
I think when he was fighting Hearns.
Yeah, I think that was a Hearns one. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that fight. I think Hearns still should have won. So Strange wakes up, and he's at the table, and she's like, "Are you okay?" She starts stitching him up, and he's like, "Christine, I want to apologize to you. You deserve better." She's like, "Whoa, you must be in shock." She's like, "Where were you?" He's like, "I headed east to Kathmandu." She's like, "Were the song?" She's like the song? He's like, "To a place called Karmitage. And I talked to the Ancient One." She goes, "Oh, you joined a cult." She's like, "No, they taught me to tap into powers I didn't know existed." Oh, she goes, "Oh, like a cult would say." And then he laughs, and she's like, he gets up to leave, and he's like, "Where are you going?" He's like, "I'm late for a cult meeting." And she's like, "Talk to me." She's like helping him walk like back down the hallway. She's like, "Where are you going? Truthfully, tell me." He goes, "Well, a sorcerer gave himself to an ancient entity, and he's trying very hard to kill me and everyone else. And he went through another gate to this other dimension, and so now I got to chase him through this gate that I left to another dimension in the bathroom closet." And she goes, "Okay, don't tell me." And then he opens up the bathroom door, and
did she not just see his spirit fucking...
Thank you, Berner. It makes me so annoyed when people like, I need multiple things.
Yeah.
Before I just believe something.
Yeah, isn't your perception of reality... Aren't you at least a little bit like, well, maybe, I don't know. I mean, he was doing that earlier as well, to be fair.
He also was doing that.
Yeah.
Like she did zap this nigga through a million dimensions, and he was like, but you don't know everything. And then so he opens up the closet, and she sees the portal, and she's like, and he goes, "I have to go." And he walks through it, and it closes, and she's in the closet by herself, and she's like, "Oh my God." And then you see, like, while she turns around, a mop falls, and she's like, "Ah!" Like, bro, it's such a genuine shot, too. It looks real, bro. It fucks her up. So we see him walk back through the New York sanctum, and he checks the dead body that he killed, and he can't believe it. And then he throws the cape on in slow-mo. Great shot. And he has the eye of Agamotto. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just that great shot of him. Mm-hmm. Mordu is there. He's at the New York sanctum. He's like, "Strange, I'm glad to see you're okay." And he sees the cloak on him. He goes, "The cloak of levitation. It came to you." And then you hear Tilda Swinton go, "That's no minor feat." And then he tells him, like, "I saw Caecilius. He could fold matter at his own will now, outside the mirror dimension." And then Tilda Swinton's like, "Really?" And she goes, "Yes." And she goes, "How many more are there?" He goes, "Well, only 2 more. I killed one of his minions. They're dead in the hallway." And they go, "Well, the London sanctum has fallen. There's only New York and Hong Kong remain." And she goes, "Well, master," she goes, "Well, Strange, you defended the New York sanctum from attack. With its master gone, we need another. How about you, Master Strange?" He goes, "No, it's Dr. Strange. When I became a doctor, I swore an oath to never harm anyone, and I just killed a man." You know? And she goes, "Okay, doctor." And then he goes, "I chose to save lives, not take them." And then she goes, "You became a doctor to save only one life above all others, your own." He goes, "Oh, you still see through me so easily?" She goes, "I see what I always see, your inflated ego. You can't, she goes, "You can control everything." She goes, "You can't control anything, doctor, even your death. Not even the great Dr. Strange can control that." And he goes, "What about Dormammu? He gives immortality." And she looks at him. She goes, he goes, "You feed off him, don't you? That's how you do it. I saw the missing pages." She goes, measure your next word carefully, Strange." He goes, "Why? Because you won't like them?" She goes, "No, because you know not of what you speak." And then Mordu's like, "What's going on?" Which is funny to just be like, I don't know what anyone's talking about. And then he goes, "You know, Mordu, she draws power from the dark dimension to stay alive." And Mordu's like, "What?" And Tilda's like, we will regroup and we will come back. And she walks off. And Mordu's like, what the fuck? And then he looks at Mordu, Dr. Strange, and he's like, she's not who you think she is. And he goes, you can't say that. You don't know what's on her shoulders, you coward. And you don't want to join us. You don't want to help. He goes, what, because I'm not a killer? He goes, these people will snuff us out one by one, and you can't do it first? He goes, what do you think I just did? He goes, you saved your own life and whined about it like a wounded dog. He goes, oh, so you could do it so easily? He goes, you don't know what I've done. And yes, without hesitation, I could. And then Dr. Strange goes, well, you lack imagination. There are other ways. And he goes, well, you lack a spine, Strange. So right then, they hear something. They all turn. They go, they're back, you know? So they run down to fight. And then you see motherfucking Mordu sees Caecilius, and he jumps down. He's like, come on, Strange. Come down and fight. And then right then, Caecilius is about to drop another bomb, and Dr. Strange thinks, and he fucking does like a mirror dimension in front of him, like around him. Mm-hmm. So the bomb blows up, but nothing happens. No one gets hurt. Right? And then he goes, the mirror dimension. You can't affect anything in the real world in here, Caecilius. Who's laughing now, asshole? And Caecilius goes, I am. And he starts bending all the world like crazy, right? Strange, you see Strange go, oh shit. And he flies by him, and when he does, he steals his sling ring, and him and Mordu take off running. And they go, he goes, I got his ring. He can't escape now. And then you start seeing the world bending like crazy. And he goes, and Mordu goes, yeah, but they can still kill us. They're stronger in here. They're connected to the dark dimension. This is suicide. You see Caecilius bending the world. They're trying to go through portals, but they can't because he keeps bending the world and fucking them up so they can't get through it, right? He bends one image in like one wall, and they fall and land on a bus. And when they land on the bus, you see Stan Lee, and he's like reading a comic book, and he's like, "This is a great one," or some fucking shit,
right?
Just some shit, so the crowd goes,
"Yeah, Stan Lee,
yeah, that old guy who made all this. He did make all this.
Yeah, it's true.
It's very impressive. A lot of writing.
Yeah,
it's a lot of writing.
It is.
That is so many original superheroes that he came up with that are his. It's like, wow.
I guess that is pretty impressive.
So many.
Yeah.
But then, I mean, it's also because it's fun because at a certain point you're just like, oh man, wouldn't it be fun if a guy was, his powers were, he could throw polka dots at people, and then you get to just do that.
Right.
And that's an actual
polka dot. Yeah.
Like, crazy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, art is cool.
Jeffrey. So Strange keeps trying to open up a portal and run through it. Caecilius isn't letting him do it. And he's just bending the world. And he separates him and Mordu, and Caecilius is chasing after him. And he finally slams him down, and he goes to stab him, and at the last second, Tilda went and saves him, right? Mm-hmm. And then she uses her power to make a floor that he can't bend, and then they all step down on it, right? And you see when she does this, you know how I showed they had those evil eyes and that little fucking imprint on their forehead? She has that shit. And Mordu is looking at her, and he can't believe it. He's like, it's true. She draws power from the dark dimension, right? And then you hear Tilda go, Caecilius? And then Caecilius goes, I came to you, trusted you to be my teacher. She goes, I tried to protect you. Caecilius. He goes, I have a new teacher now. He deceives you, Caecilius. His eternal life is not a paradise. It's torment. You're a liar. They start fighting, right? She's fucking up. She tries to bend the world, but he tries to bend the world, bro. Like, he hits the ground to, bend the world, this way. And then she, does, some Matrix shit and bends back. And then, boom, slams her hand down, and the world just immediately bends back, bro. It's a fire fucking move, bro. Like, when you see it, it's like, damn, that was cool. And then she fucks up all the other dudes. And then as she's fucking him up, Caecilius thinks, and he throws one of his guys at her. And so one of his guys and her are fighting, and Caecilius makes one of those invisible knives and stabs and kills his own guy to stab through him to stab her. And she's like, right?
Oh, man, that old move.
Oh, that old move.
Yeah.
That old chestnut. You kill your own guy.
Right.
They did it in Black Panther, too, remember? Killmonger does that. He kills his girlfriend to kill Andy Serkis.
Right, that's right, yeah. Was this minion Caecilius' boyfriend?
Ooh, probably not in this dimension, but they speak of other realities. So in another reality,
Okay,
absolutely.
yeah.
There is a reality for sure. Was.
Wow, that's cold.
Cold-blooded, brother.
Yeah.
Cold-blooded. And we'll be right back to finish this movie after this commercial break.
I was wondering what was happening.
Hey, Bean Mafia. That's right. The Bean Mafia gang has stepped up. Spoil the beans. We're here. We got a real ad, baby. This is a real motherfucking ad. Manscaped. That's right. That's Manscaped. You heard me correct. Everyone out there who has been listening to this podcast forever, we got a real product backing us, supporting the Spoil the Beans lifestyle, supporting the Spoil the Beans movement. And you know what's nice is this product is actually the shit. I've never used Manscaped. I've never used Manscaped before. I'm not going to lie. This is the first time I ever used it. Holy shit. Not kidding. Holy shit. Holy shit. It's amazing. It is
top tier.
Top tier. Sam likes the new package.
I dig it.
It's not bad. It's not bad. I'm talking about my package. This is incredible. Your boy, you know, I'm gaining girth. You gain girth. You gain length. Fellas, Manscaped. You're giving yourself inches, baby. And if Al Pacino didn't say anything, he said, life is a game of inches. You haven't seen this movie yet.
I was like, what?
Any given Sunday.
That?
Life's a game of inches. Nigga, Manscaped. That should be their fucking slogan. It's a game of inches. Life. Your penis. Manscaped. Dude, I love it. Spoil the Beans. That is our promo code. Literally type in Spoil the Beans. Get 20% off. Guys, let me go through how good this is. See this right here? You see this? This bad boy, excuse me, is the lawnmower. The lawnmower 4.0. Dude, I use this, shaved my balls in 10 minutes. Hadn't shaved in like half a year, probably. You know what I mean? Shaved, tire sack, 10 minutes. Unbelievable.
But you're not even nearly as hairy as I am. Hey, for the ladies who are listening to this, you can also use this to shave you. I'm a very hairy lady. I'm a kind of a fuzzy person. What?
She's a fuzzball, dog.
I'm a fuzzball. I'm like a tennis ball.
She's a fucking tennis ball.
I am a tennis ball up in here. And this is very handy, I will say.
Love it. The 4.0.
So quick. Trimmed my fuzz.
Mm-hmm. Oh, dude, Manscaped, let me tell you something about the 4.0. They engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and incredible, comfortable grooming experience. Their 4th generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to our advanced skin-safe technology. I now feel confident shaving my boys. That is true. I had no nicks.
I wasn't nervous at all.
Yeah, I had zero nicks. And I've shaved my balls plenty of times with other razors and other things like that. You know what I mean? And literally always a nick or two, which sucks because your balls, you don't want your balls bleeding all day.
Yeah, that's gross.
Because it's nonstop. A lot of blood down there. Yeah, so you just don't want that. You know what I mean? I didn't know this also. I'm one of the first people, me and you, Samantha, to try the new 4.0, and I am blown away by the performance. I literally am. It's phenomenal. It really is. This upgraded trimmer includes a multi-function on and off switch that can engage a travel lock. It really can. You can lock it if you need to. It also gives you the ability to turn the 400K LED spotlight on and off whenever needed for a precise shave.
I looked up how
oh
to
my
do
God. The Lawnmower 4.0 even allows you to customize your trim through additional guard lengths with sizes 1 through 4, which is really nice. I did need the size. I was going to go no trimmer, and Sam had helped me out here.
Yeah, we wanted to get a little bit of a fade going.
I wanted more of a fade. I didn't want a full ball, but I like the fade. Did I mention, this is very important, wireless charging. Look at this. This is wireless. This is charging right now. All right. Wireless charging. Well, you got to plug it in, but it could be charging right now. Is my point.
It could be.
Wireless charging uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery length last longer. Men, if you've been shaving with the same nut trimmer on your face, you've been doing it wrong. No person wants pubes in their mouth.
Yeah, you should have one for each.
One for each. Me and Sam both have one. It's fucking awesome. It's time to get your own ball and hair and body trimmer with Manscaped to make me time the best time. and enhance your confidence with some nice, smooth boys. Get 20% off, free shipping, plus free shipping with the code SPOILTHEBEANS. All one word, Spoil the Beans, all caps. Guys, it's the name of the pod, Spoil the Beans. Easy. Manscaped, use it. Yo, let me tell you this. These are some of the things that you get. Waterproof trimmer, reduces foot odor. I didn't know that, but this does reduce foot odor.
Really?
It does. The Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer helps reduce nicks, reduces the risk of ingrown hairs, and reduces the risk of grooming accidents. I stand by all those things 1,000%. This is not because they're the first brand to support us. I genuinely fuck with this. Mm-hmm. The nose trimmer, incredible. Got all my nose hairs out.
He's got a hairy nose. That's the one thing that is very hairy.
I'm not really a hairy guy. My balls a little bit, but my nose gets hairy. But your
nose needed.
I loved this. The crop preserver, the ball deodorant, genuinely found it refreshing on my testes.
You felt refreshed?
It added a little spice. You know, it really did. I wasn't mad about it. I really wasn't. The crop reviver, the ball toner, also felt good on my balls. I love this bag that they come with. This is just nice for, because I travel a lot.
The Shed.
Is that what it's called?
That's what it says on here. The Shed. It's
the travel bag. I travel a lot, so I've been using it on the road. Unbelievable. Unbelievable kit. Unbelievable package. I've been putting my other toiletries in this, but it's phenomenal. Dude, everything they sent us, I've been using. Every single thing. Sam uses them.
I did. I had to trim the fuzz.
Dude, if you're in a couple, get two. Get the 4.0 lawnmower. Unreal. Mm-hmm. Get the fucking, for fellas, if you got a hairy nose, get the weed whacker. 1,000% recommend the weed whacker if you got a hairy nose. Ball fucking deodorant, the crop preserver, unbelievable. The toner, unbelievable. God, the lawnmower 4.0, seriously. I genuinely loved this product. It is so worth it. It's just, I shaved. I'm going to probably shave again in another week. It took me 10 minutes. Crop the area. More inches.
It took you less time than 10 minutes.
Did it? It felt so fast.
It was very fast. Maybe like quick. 2 songs.
It was 2 rap songs. So we're talking, it might be 6 minutes. Probably, yeah, right. 6 minutes, if we're being all the way honest. 6 minutes. Your boy was fresh shaved up. We had incredible sex. Can I guarantee the great sex you'll have? I can't guarantee that. I can hope for it. I'll hope for it.
We can put that energy into
I'll put that energy. If you use Spoil the Beans, Manscaped, promo code, off. 20% off, plus free shipping, I will put that good energy if you're going to have good sex after you Manscaped. I'm going to put that out there on you.
That's for you, man.
That's for you. Guys,
lady.
Spoil the Beans. The promo code's right here. Use it. Don't lose it. All right? 20% off. And Manscaped, thank you so much, man. You guys, this was amazing.
Manscaped.
We really appreciate it. We love you guys. Thanks for supporting the Bean Mafia. And back to the movie. And we're back. Tried to make out with Jeffrey. He said no, not during the commercial break. So now we can make out.
No, I didn't. I mean, no.
I guess no means no.
Yeah, I'm sorry for being a real mouth tease.
Other than the rapist.
Okay, I mean, you did find a clever loophole there.
I did a loophole. Sometimes you just gotta use your brain.
Right, yeah.
So they motherfucking Tilda Swinton is stabbed now. Our boy Caecilius does another portal and he falls. He and kicks her through it. Kicks Tilda Swinton through it. Mm-hmm. She fucking falls far as fuck through New York City and lands in the real city. Hard as shit on the sidewalk. And people are like, oh shit. It looks like just a person trying to commit suicide or something, right? They chase after her. Fucking Doctor Strange picks her up with Mordo and he takes her to the hospital and he's like, Christine! And she's like, are you kidding me? Christine! And she runs up and she's like, oh shit. And he tells her all the problems. Yo, she was stabbed, she fell, yada yada, we gotta save her. So he puts on his scrubs to help, but his hands are shaking. And he gives the scalpel to the other doctor who was being mean to earlier in the movie. He goes, we need to release pressure on her brain, right? And he's watching her and she's dying. And they're like, she's dying. And he's like, oh, what the fuck is going on? So he jumps out of his body, his body starts falling in slow motion, but he's now in his astro self. Mm-hmm. And he sees her in her astro self, and she's going outside. And he's like, where are you going? What are you doing? You're dying, right? And he finally catches up, and he's like, Ancient One, return now. You don't have any time. She's like, oh, time is relative, Strange. Your body, she goes, you've been following me for how long now, and your body still hasn't hit the floor yet. I spent my life peering through time, looking at this moment, and I can never see past it. He goes, what? She goes, I've prevented terrible futures, one after another, but they all led to this moment right here. He goes, is this where you die? And she doesn't say anything. And she goes, do you want me to see your life, Strange? He goes, no. Yes. She goes, well, I'll tell you this. I never saw your whole life, just your possibilities. You always excelled, but not because you crave success, but because you fear failure. And he goes, that's what made me a great doctor. She goes, it's exactly what kept you from greatness. Arrogance and fear keeps you from learning the most significant lesson in life. And he goes, which is, it's not about you. And he's like that shit hits him.
Right.
Like he's like, oh, right? She goes, when you first came to me, you asked how I healed Pangborn. I didn't. He channels dimensional energy into his own body. And Dr. Strange is like, he uses magic to walk? She's like, constantly. He chooses his old life. He goes, so I can have my hands back, my old life? She goes, you could, and the world would be lesser for it. She goes, I hate drawing power from the dark dimension, but sometimes you must break the rules for good. And Dr. Strange is like, Mordo won't see it that way. He needs your flexibility, Strange, as you need his strength. You both need each other to stop Dormammu. He goes, I'm not ready. And she grabs his hand. She goes, death gives life meaning. Knowing your days are numbered, time is short. You think all of this, I'd be ready. But look at me, stretching this moment out into 1,000, just so I can watch the snow one more time. And then she disappears. Right? And they cut to her on the real table. Boop. She dies. Okay? You see Strange, he's washing his hands. Christine walks in. He grabs her hand, and she's like, are you okay? He's like, I don't understand what's happening. She's like, I know. He goes, but I have to go away now. And then he looks at her. He goes, you said losing my hands didn't have to be the end. It can be the beginning. And I've realized now that there are other ways to save lives. There's harder ways. And she looks at him, and she starts crying, and she's like, there's weirder ways. Right?
Stranger even.
Stranger ways. Stranger things.
Oh, what?
We said the magical word, Stranger Things. A fucking monster breaks through the window. The magical Stranger Things monster's here. They laugh. She gets called. They're like, we need Christine. Christine to the ER. Christine to the ER. She kisses him on the cheek. He cries and she leaves, right? You see the cape come on his back. He points the collars up. The collars try to wipe away his tears. And he's like, stop, right? Cut to Hong Kong. We see Caecilius and his minions come through a portal, right? They start walking towards the sanctum. Wong is with everyone inside. He goes, choose your weapons wisely. No one sets foot in this sanctum. And Wong grabs a weapon and looks at the camera. No one. And it's just one of those moments where you're like, I fucking love Wong.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We see Wong, he walks outside, and Caecilius is like, Wong, you're on the wrong side of history. And Wong just goes, shh, right? Gets in a fight stance. You see Strange, he comes up and talks to Mordo, right? He finds Mordo. And he's like, Mordo, she's dead. And then Mordo's like, she wasn't who I thought she was. Strange is like, yo, man, she was complicated. The dark dimension is volatile and dangerous. What if it overtook her? She taught us it was forbidden while drawing on its power. And then Dr. Strange is like, she did what she thought was right. And Mordo goes, the bill comes due. Caecilius was her fault. And here we are in the consequence of her deceptions. The world is on fire. Mordo, the London sanctum fell. New York fell. We know where he's going next. You told me to fight like my life depends on it. Today is that day. But I can't defeat him alone. Mordo's like, okay. Strange opens up a portal. They enter the Hong Kong, they go to the Hong Kong sanctum. Mm-hmm. It's already fell. The dark dimension is already coming to Earth. Like, everyone's dead. Like, everyone, it's fucked. Like, Hong Kong's completely getting destroyed, right? They're like, Dormammu is coming. It's too late. Nothing can stop him. And then Strange thinks, and he goes, not necessarily. And he opens up the fucking time, thing. And then Caecilius sees this, and he's like, no! And he runs at him, and he jumps to stab him, and he gets to the last second, and fucking Strange goes, catches him last second, and then starts rewinding everything. And then everyone starts going back towards everything starts coming together. The dark dimension starts going away. Like, everything starts going back, right? And then he's like, the spell's working. And he looks at Mordo, and Mordo, he puts a spell on Mordo, so he's not going backwards now. He's also, in real time. Mm-hmm. and then they start like but Caecilius and his minions also do this. Like they fucking do the same spell and they get out of going backwards.
Okay.
So now they start going forward and they start fighting shit, right? They're fighting their fucking asses off. It's a dope ass fight scene, bro, because as they're fighting, the whole world behind them is going in reverse. Like out of chaos into back to normal.
Right.
So like all this crazy shit is happening, bro. It's fire as fuck. You know? So Mordu, he's fucking up both these motherfuckers, and Caecilius and Strange are fighting. Mordu comes to help, and he throws fucking Caecilius in a wall, and you see the wall get reversed back like to fix on Caecilius, and you see a dead Wong, and then Wong is fucking brought back to life, and he's like, and then he does the fucking thing on the spell on him, so he's like back in reality, and then he's looking around, and he sees everything going in reverse, and Doctor Strange is like, I know, I'm breaking the laws of nature, and Wong smiles as he's like, don't stop now. So Caecilius comes out the wall, and you see him running, and he drops one of those bomb things, and it knocks everybody out, and it freezes time completely, right? Like it stops the spell, so everything's just frozen. And Mordu's like, "Get up, Strange! Get up! We can finish this." Strange gets up slow, and then you hear Caecilius go, "You can't fight the inevitable. Isn't it beautiful?" And you look up, and you see the dark dimension. It's like a world beyond time and death, and Strange is like, beyond time. And he takes off flying into the sky with his cape. Mm-hmm. And then fucking Mordu's like, Strange! And he goes into the dark dimension. And Mordu can't believe he left him, right? So you see Strange, he lands, and he opens up his time thing, and he does a spell on his hand. And he looks up, and you see an eye. And the camera pans back, and you see that vibrating face, okay? And this is what it looks like, just so you can see it.
Okay.
This is Dormammu. See what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah.
So he looks like this, and this is the shot. Like he's like standing right in front of his eye, and then the camera pans back, and you see you really see the scale of how absolutely monstrous this motherfucker is. Okay. You know what I mean? So Strange lands, and he like the camera pans back, mm-hmm. and Strange jumps down like in front of like this like little landing point right in front of Dormammu, and he goes, Dormammu, I've come to bargain. And Dormammu's like, you've come to die. The world is mine now, like all worlds. And he sends a bunch of fucking knives and blasts him, fucking kills Doctor Strange immediately. Kills him. And then you see shit, like he smiles for a second, Dormammu, and then shit rewinds, and fucking Doctor Strange jumps right back down where he just was, and he's like, Dormammu, I've come to bargain. And you hear Dormammu go, your world is mine. What is this? Illusion? He goes, no, this is real. And he fucking, like a bunch of knives come out the ground, and he kills Doctor Strange again. And then Doctor Strange jumps right back down. Dormammu, I've come to bargain. What is happening? Just as you gave Caecilius power from the dark dimension, I brought a little power from my realm. This is time. Endless looped time. Boom! He smashes him. Jumps right back down. Dormammu, I've come to bargain. You cannot do this forever. Actually, I can. This is just how things are now, Dormammu. Me and you trapped in this moment endlessly. Then you'll spend eternity dying. Yes, I will. But everyone else will live. You will suffer. Pain's an old friend. Ah! He just kills him, bro. You start seeing him killing him, and just a million times. Dormammu, I've come to bargain. Right? Over, like, bro, he's killing him in like every horrible conceivable way you can imagine. Torturing him, all these horrible things. Right. Just him dying. Dormammu, I've come to bargain. You will never win. And Doctor Strange lands. No, but I can lose. Again and again and again, forever. And that makes you my prisoner. No! He kills him again. Make this stop! He lands, and he's like, set me free! And he goes, Dormammu, I've come to bargain. Fire, right? That, I was like, damn. The fact that he knew, like, that's fire. And he goes, what do you want? Take your zealots from Earth and end your assault on my world. Never come back. You do that, I break this loop. Cut back to Mordo saying, get up, Strange. Get up. We can fight. We can finish this. And Caecilius like, isn't this beautiful? A world beyond death, beyond time. And then he turns, and now Doctor Strange is behind him. And he's like, what is this? He goes, I made a bargain for everything you ever wanted. Eternal life as part as the one. You're not going to like it. And he goes, what? Him and his minions disintegrate into like little black creatures, and they fucking zoom off into space and join like Dormammu, right?
Okay.
And they're like screaming as they do it. And then Doctor Strange goes, you really should have read the whole book. The warnings come after the spells. Wong, it's a silent pause, and Wong does exactly that. Wong goes, bah! Like he like loses it. He goes, now that's funny. Because also I like the idea of, and he repeats it like, the spells are in the back. Because I guess if you read all the books, you know, you're like,
right.
They are. Then they shouldn't be. They should be first.
Yeah, it makes
the warnings.
Sense.
So, Strange uses the time stone to make everything go back to normal again. Nobody even knows what happened, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at Wong and he's like, we did it. And then Mordo goes, yes, we did. But we did it by violating the natural law. And then fucking Strange was like, look around, man. It's over. And then Mordo goes, you think there will be no consequences? No price to pay. We broke the rules like her, and the bill comes due. Always a reckoning. And I will follow this path no longer. Sam sneezed. I don't know if y'all heard it.
It was a very
it was very at the exact same time.
timing of a sneeze, yeah.
No longer.
Wait, can we recreate it? Okay, start the line from the top.
The bill comes due.
Choo!
So he puts his cloak on, he turns, and he walks off. We see Strange in the sanctum, and he puts the Eye of Agamotto back. And Wong's like, that's a wise choice. You'll wear that one day, once you master its powers. Until then, best not walk the streets with an Infinity Stone, know what I mean? And Doctor Strange is like, oh, what? He goes, you have a lot to learn. Word of the Ancient One's death will spread throughout the multiverse. Earth has no sorcerer supreme now to defend it. We must be ready. And then Doctor Strange is like, oh, we'll be ready. They walk out the room. You hear the weird Doctor Strange music start playing. They're like, and he walks up to the window area, his cape blowing in the wind. He looks down at his watch and he puts it on. His hands are still shaking. The camera pans back out of the window. We see the house in New York. Doctor Strange.
That was really good.
You liked it?
Yeah.
First bonus scene.
Okay.
You hear a certain familiar voice. So, Earth has wizards now, huh? Tea? No, I don't drink tea. And then you see a huge beer in Thor's hand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you remember this scene. And then you see Doctor Strange. He goes, I keep a watch list of evil threats. Your adopted brother Loki is on top of that list. It's a worthy inclusion. Well, why'd you bring him here to New York? Long story, family drama, yada, yada, but we're mainly looking for my father. Well, okay. If you found him, if you found Odin, you'd return to Asgard promptly? Oh, promptly. He drinks the beer. Well, great. Allow me to help. Doctor Strange. What scene was that from, Bern?
That was Ragnarok,
That
right?
was from Ragnarok,
wow.
baby. This came out before Ragnarok, obviously. What if this came out after and they're like, okay.
Remember Ragnarok?
Remember how good Ragnarok was? So, final bonus scene. Now, this one, you don't know. This one, even we still don't know.
Whoa.
That's how this one set up something that's finally happening because the next. So Spider-Man: No Way Home just came out, right? And Doctor Strange is all in that.
Okay.
Like that's a Doctor Strange Spider-Man movie, which is the newest Spider-Man, which was biggest movie of all time, literally biggest blockbuster movie of all time already, broke all the records, and it's one of the best Marvel movies ever made.
Okay.
Top Sam, what do you think? Top what? The new Spider-Man. Top 3 for me. Top 5 for you? Sam said top 5. But that's how good that the new Spider-Man is.
Okay.
It's unreal, and it's a Doctor Strange Spider-Man movie.
I can't wait to hear it.
Okay, And the newest movie coming out, that set up the next movie. The next movie is Doctor Strange 2, Multiverse of Madness, which is why I'm telling you this one. I'm getting you all caught up, baby.
Okay,
We're getting you all caught up. So Doctor Strange 2 is the next one that comes out, which is going to have something to do with this bonus scene right here, which is from 2014, bro. That's how old this movie was. Sparks are flying. We see a guy doing welding work. It's the Pangborn guy. Remember the guy that this all started? The guy that was... He told him to go to Carmitage.
Oh,
guy
yeah,
playing
yeah,
basketball.
yeah.
It's him.
Okay.
You see Mordu walk up behind him. They carried you into Carmitage on a stretcher. And look at you now, Pangborn. And he turns and he's like, Mordu, what can I do for you, man? And Mordu's like, I've been away for months and had a revelation. The true nature of a sorcerer is to bend things out of shape. Stealing power, perverting nature, like you. And then Pangborn's like, I've stolen nothing, man. This is my power. This is mine. Mordu's like, power has purpose. And then he kind of sees Mordu's eyes, and he tries to fight him, and Mordu hits him in the stomach like this, and sucks all the power out, and it goes into Mordu, and the guy is like, falls, and he's just completely crippled again.
Oh, man.
And he's like, why are you doing this? And he fucking bends down, and he's like, because I see at last what's wrong with this world. Too many sorcerers. Doctor Strange will return.
Dude, that's a great... Wow.
He's a villain.
Yeah. I sort of sensed it coming. Yeah.
So in the new trailer, you see he's... I don't think he's the only villain, but you see he's they bring him back, and he doesn't look the same.
Right.
Like he's definitely in this new Doctor Strange is gonna be a villain. So
okay,
that's what that comes like. But they said that's a... I mean, it came out in 2014. It's 2022. That is a almost 10-year setup.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's what makes these movies so good, man. How they take their time. Like when you see a bonus scene, because even this came out in 2014. I think Thor Ragnarok came out in 2018 or 2019. So think about that. Like that was a 5-year gap in between that.
Yeah, that's impressive.
Very impressive how they set this up. But
these writers went through a lot of life in between.
These writers.
Yeah.
Oh my God, bro. And it also changes so much because like other stories, like the ideas come up, and then, oh my God, to keep it all on pace. But what did you think of this one?
It was really good.
You liked it?
It was great. Very, very great, actually.
It's a good one. I told you this one because
Inside Out.
It's no Inside Out. It is not Inside Out, but not a lot of things are, again, other than Inside Out, of course.
Inside Out is, yeah.
Sam, can I have a drink? But the reason I told you this...
I'm good, thank you.
The reason I told you this one is because this one, as you can see, because I'm building up to tell you... This is all building up to tell you in-game.
Yes.
Because that's what this is all for. And I've already told you Infinity War. But the reason I told you this one is because, as you can see, this is a standalone. This one really doesn't have anything to do with...
Right.
This just sets up Doctor Strange, which you already know anyway because you've seen... I've told you about all Infinity War.
Well, I didn't really understand what any of his powers were, and I still don't really.
Yeah, we still don't. No.
Magic.
It's just magic.
Yeah.
His is just straight up magic. But now you understand him and like where and he makes more sense.
Yeah.
But don't worry. I will tell you the things that I need to tell. There's like 3 more things I have to tell you before I can tell you in game. So that way you fully get in game. Because when I tell you these, Infinity War will make all the sense.
Right.
When I tell you the movies that I need to tell you, it'll be like, because this Infinity War, you understand Doctor Strange. I mean, this helps because now, but Thor Ragnarok even, they give you enough of that Doctor Strange is in New York and yada yada and all that, and it sets up Infinity War really well. But this movie sets up everything that happens also. The reason I'm telling you this is because, Sam, tell me if I'm wrong here. This sets up everything post-Endgame. This whole multiverse world that we're living in.
That's what we're all looking forward to.
Sam said, hold up, Sam. Hold on, Sam. Go ahead, say what you're saying.
Oh, okay. Sorry. The future is in the multiverse.
So yeah, that's why we're telling. That's why I have to tell you this, because this.
Right.
It's like, well, you need to know this because when I do tell you in game, it's all gonna be about this whole thing.
I mean, I appreciate your Tarantinoing the Marvels.
Well, it makes it a little more fun, doesn't it?
It is, yeah.
But yeah, you got to watch Doctor Strange, bro. I think you'll genuinely enjoy it.
Okay.
It is a top Marvel movie. Is it top 10? No, but that's only because they've made 50 of them, if that makes sense.
Okay. This you wouldn't call this top 10? I thought this was really good.
This was really good, but because it's like, I don't think this is... Because it's like, well, my top 5 goes Infinity War, Endgame, Black Panther, No. Infinity War, Endgame, No Way Home, Black Panther, Thor Ragnarok. Then after that, I'd probably go Guardians 1.
Mm-hmm.
Iron Man 1.
Iron Man 1,
yep,
yeah.
Iron Man 1.
So good, yeah. I've seen it, but can you tell me that one?
Oh, it's a good one.
Yeah.
Far From Home. Spider-Man Far From Home, which is the second one to come out in this new world. Unreal. I got to put that one there. And then, bro, Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi's better than this. Yeah, I'm going to say Shang-Chi's better than this. And then I'd say probably... Oh, I'm lying. I got to redo the whole list because I didn't say Winter Soldier or Civil War. Oh, my God. Yeah, I'm like, so yeah, this isn't in my top 10. That's how I know, though, because Civil War is probably number 6 or 7, and Winter Soldier's got to be like in my top 10 as well. So, I can't. Because Shang-Chi would probably be 10. Shang-Chi would probably be 10. Then that's a new one. And that one I can also tell you because that one like this, it has nothing to do with what's going on really. Mm-hmm. It's like its own world. Right. But at the same time, I'll tell you that after Endgame because that's when we'll be setting up the whole new world that you're getting into.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that you're getting all these Marvel movies completely secondhand. You're getting secondhand Marvel universe.
I'm liking
it's like Marvel hand-me-downs. Sam said something. Sam said it's like secondhand lines with Marvel, and I like that line. But again, she is talking off camera, and that's a fucking problem. She cannot learn. She will not learn. She refuses to learn. Just like Doctor Strange.
Well, he learned.
He did learn. He learned that the world isn't what, Jeffrey?
It's not about him.
It's not about him. And that's what I learned.
Even though the title of it is
Doctor Strange. You should have said that. You should have said, are you sure this isn't about me? It feels like it's about me. I've had the most screen time.
It said my name like 3 times.
How'd you feel about Tilda Swinton not being Asian? Did that bother you?
You know, I remembered when you told me Tilda Swinton, I remembered that was a thing.
That was a big controversy. And you know what's annoying?
Yeah.
If you watch the movie, she damn near steals the movie. She is fucking unbelievably good. She's a great actress.
Yeah. I guess to be like more authentic, she should have done like an Asian accent, maybe.
Oh, Doctor Strange! It's not about yours.
Yeah, yeah. And then she fades away.
It's not about you fading away now. Oh, I fade away. It's just like, oh my God, that's so Asian to say what she's doing.
She's a great actress. She's a great actress. She could do it. She could do it.
Oh, I fade away now. Sophie, it's not about you, Mr. Strange.
Yeah, that would have made it less offensive.
Mr. Strange.
If it were like this.
Oh, Mordu. You need his flexibilities, and you need his strength. Oh.
Yeah, that would have made it like less offensive.
Oh, Wong. We'll be back next week.
I'm not offended by the voice, but the face you're making, I am.